Hello friends, my name's Joanne Pollock. I'm an art consultant in Southern Ontario, and it is my extreme delight to be here today with this beautiful artist, Lydia Panart, in the Summer and Grace Gallery in downtown Oakville. So Lydia, you are represented by this wonderful gallery, and we happen to be standing in front of three beautiful pieces of your work, which are commanding front and center in this wonderful gallery. So please, let's talk about you as an artist first of all. And you're from Buenos Aires, but you've also been an architect, and you've moved from architecture into your art practice, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Correct. Awesome. Let's talk about your work in depth, because when I think about your work, I'm thinking about your work being a dichotomy of a lot of things, and I don't know whether you like me to use that word, but that certainly is the impression that I get off of your work. It's a contrast between lightness and darkness, strength and weak, you know, power and non-power perhaps. And so please, first of all, maybe you can identify these three pieces, and then we can talk about them, whether there is a similarity between these three pieces, or whether in fact we're talking about a completely different structure in all of the pieces.
All right. It's a complicated question. So maybe these two artworks are more related. My work is all about feelings, Joanne. It's about reflections. I constantly reflect about themes that I'm interested on, or I'm dwelling on, or I want to find an answer. It's a process. So that's why you can see lots of layers. The colors will change based on the theme that I'm talking about. So for example, in these two, you can see that there are elements in opposition, darks and light, when you're talking about. The other one is more light,
right,
because the circumstance when I painted was completely different, of the memory of the place. So in this case, I'm talking about reaching the core.
Reaching the core.
Reaching the core, your essence.
Okay.
It could be mine, it could be yours, whoever. Maybe, okay, the viewer can relate different,
right,
but how I construct it, right? So that was my inspiration. I mean, probably in times of where, again, you pause, there's uncertainty. These two pieces came out after COVID, right? The world is an uncertain place, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Normally, there's a transition between one state and another. Into another.
Right.
So I love to use sometimes, as you can see, straight lines and complement with organic. And the other planes are more colorful, or a variety of colors, or the colors mix into another, right? So here I'm showing a transition. There is a line. Yes, there's a difference between one state and the other. However, although it's dark, I'm talking about there's more light inside. Darkness, unknown, is not scary. It looks like it's scary. No, it's as I mentioned before, it's a place of wisdom. You can be illuminated. We didn't find the light, but it's not that there's no light. So what I'm talking about here, when I said find the core, is find your own light. Get into your essence, right?
Right.
All the answers are within us, but also be open. Be open to receive another light. And when I said light, it's possibilities. So to me, it's that process of recognition and of a moment where you're not too sure, to try to go into, to assure yourself that the strength, the light, the knowledge comes from you. It's inside you.
What happens though with a viewer that perhaps creates their own interpretation of this piece. So ideally, you're moving, at least your idea is that you're moving from darkness into light. What happens if somebody wants to move from light into darkness?
And that's
right,
fine.
right.
Because each viewer will relate to the piece in a different way, and not necessarily needs to know what was the message that I'm hiding there. And also there's two balances of forces again, because there's the horizontal line, but also you have the vertical, right, which is the infinite to me. So
that is very evident in this work, of course. This work, although there are similarities in the color palette with this piece, this piece, first of all, what's the title of this piece, Lydia?
As It Happens.
As It Happens.
So there's, again, in both of, I had to relate, in both of them there's movement, right?
Right.
Okay. So this is less maybe. And as it happens is because there's a process of transformation, of change. And when I was thinking about the subject, I divided the space more horizontally with certain, you see, there are some verticality. Right? Exactly there, but not as evidence as that one. That for me, it was very important. So here what I'm talking about is shedding layers, it is our own layers. It's just to get rid of habits, old structures, to reach the core.
Marvelous. Marvelous, because as you can see, there is a lot of layering in the complexity of the piece, right?
And here,
yeah,
so
very much so.
They are disappearing.
And this is this, I mean, is this a letting go up here?
It's the letting go of everything that you don't need.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Just to access your essence again, and also let it be. Bring it out, and that's why it's coming. But it's not as abrupt as that one.
Right.
So it means, that's why I said it's process.
Because in this one, you can't exactly describe it as an abstract painting. It really isn't.
It isn't, to me, I relate as an abstract, but I use elements of nature.
Well,
That's
here it looks like
the horizon line.
All right. Or this looks like the coastline of a shoreline of, you know, whether it's Canadian shoreline or whatever. So there are various elements that are feeding into this piece, which really make it interesting.
Yeah, because it looks like a landscape, but it's not.
Correct. Let's go down to this piece here, Lydia. This one is called Illuminated.
Yeah.
And as the art consultant that happened to take this work into this gallery, I was enchanted by this piece. And I wonder if you could share the beautiful, beautiful emotional essence that you felt when you did this piece.
All right. So the name of the painting is even longer than that. It's called Illuminated by Flashes of Absolute Freedom. So as an architect, space speaks to me. But I don't need to be an architect to be in a place and feel different changes of mood. So after a visit in Turkey, in Istanbul, I remember I created that piece after when I came back. But the moment when I entered, no matter religions of anything, it's being in a space where the colors was beautiful, the tiles, the blues, the light coming from the windows. And it was so massive, the space, and you constantly look up. And it was the emotion, you can't describe an emotion. So the only thing I could do is put it there. So I simplified the way that the light was hitting, right? Certain other colors of the tile that you could see here and there because of the vitro on the windows. But it was the magnificence of the space that also reminds me of the magnificence of humanity, because human being created this beauty. And the connection with the spiritual part of it.
And I love the geometrics in this piece, Lydia. I just, to me, this piece speaks to me, and it speaks to me of lightness, of heavenly emotion, of the ethereal and beautiful qualities of light, and seeing the light that emanates from this work. Just quickly, we want to talk about your horizon in terms of the next steps in your art career. You're a busy lady, you teach courses, you have a studio, a private studio, you participate in arts events. So can you talk about the next progression in your art career?
Well, my aspiration is to work as a collaboration with other artists from different genres. Could be musicians, writers. I'm a team player, so, and I think that would be amazing. So co-create. My next horizon is keep growing myself, because if I keep questioning, right, and keep open to growth, that will be shown in my art.
Of course it will.
So, and the next horizon is probably reaching more, helping helping the arts to reach more people. It should be part of the daily life, right?
Absolutely. I cannot end this interview without acknowledging your many accomplishments, Lydia, that you have had both nationally and internationally. Can you just tell the viewers a little bit about your international experience in terms of the Biennale and other major arts events that you've participated in?
Yes, I participated in a couple of biennales. The London Biennale was one. I love to participate in symposia. It was art symposia. One was in Dubai, the other one was in Azerbaijan, in Baku. That was interesting because you work with different artists. Well, many exhibits that I have in South America, in South American centers as well. I received an award in France. But the most important, I think, that award that warmed up my heart was the first recognition that I had when in 2005, I was nominated for the Emerging Visual Arts Award by the Mrs. Arts Council. And when I got the award, I was so honored, because I moved to Canada in 1998. I was a single mother by then, raising 3 kids, decided to change careers, and being recognized in the art with the pieces that I submitted and my contribution in the community at the time. So it was a great validation that I was doing the right thing.
However, that's a beautiful accolade as a welcome to Canada, but of course your reputation far exceeds A, an emerging artist, and B, an artist on a national level. So you are undoubtedly a well-recognized and well-loved and well-supported artist all over the world. So thank you very much, Lydia. It was an absolute pleasure. For people that are interested in purchasing these works of art, I do hope you can come to Summer and Grace Gallery and take a close look. They deserve a good look on these beautiful walls. So thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much to Summer and Grace Gallery, and to you, Joanne.
My pleasure. My pleasure.